It's Ehizoje, everyone's favorite Nigerian.
This that real life shit, nigga.
Alright, so we're gonna move on to the next one. This is the second topic. Only got two today.
Okay.
Because we got a bunch of shit we got to go into later. But this one's a big one. It took Twitter by storm when it came out. I think you guys know what I'm alluding to. I'm talking about Reason. I'm talking about Musa from TDE. They had a little spiff, a little back and forth on the Back on Fig podcast a couple weeks ago. Real shit or weird shit? Musa calling out Reason on live in front of hundreds of thousands of people, and I'm sure eventually millions of people saw that shit go down.
Absolutely weird shit.
Okay.
I don't know how that would ever be real shit. Like, if you're the president of your label, you're supposed to have your artist's best interests at heart.
Yeah.
Or in mind, my bad, not at heart, but I guess at heart too. But if they're going on a press run to roll out their album, which is finally coming out after years, but that we'll talk about that later.
I mean, we could talk about it right now. This is the topic.
I just want to do the just general overview, but they're just doing a press run, right? When their album finally coming out after years, and now you coming on there and pretty much saying, Dave Free didn't want to sign him because he thought he was a substitute teacher.
He didn't say it unprovoked. Let's add a little all right, let me add a little context before we did. Let me add a little context. So they were asking Reason questions about what went wrong with the rollout process this time around with this project. And Reason was pretty much alluding to the fact that he doesn't feel like the label was doing their part
right
as they should have, or as he feels like they should have, in terms of promoting the project or getting the right features, or even holding the project back, which you mentioned before, and making him wait on the project. He said a lot of these songs are about 2 years old, and that's when Musa or I forgot if they called Musa or if Musa called them.
I didn't see that part.
I think they might have called Musa, and then kind of tried to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, most likely. That makes more sense. Because it was a live stream, so I'm assuming he probably didn't know. Musa didn't know what was going on, I'm assuming. So they probably called him.
Yeah.
I was going to say, also, I was going to add, I saw Reason's interview today on the Breakfast Club, and he said conversations with that with him and Musa are regular. He said they're actually a lot worse.
Yeah.
It's just that it was done publicly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was done publicly.
You can't be. That's my thing. All right, so Top obviously believes in Reason, right? He's the one who green-lighted Reason being on TDE. But obviously he stepped down. He wants to enjoy the fruits of his labor. He created one of the greatest hip-hop labels of all time. So now his son takes over. But it's if you're now the president, you got to take your bias out of certain stuff and realize when you're on public forums, you can't make your artist look crazy like that. You can't. Because Reason wasn't really saying anything. I think Musa took a lot of those things personally because obviously he's a president and he represents a label. But he wasn't saying, hey, Musa was the one that held me back. He was just saying, hey, these are X, Y, and Z reasons why reasons. Funny. But these are X, Y, and Z reasons why I wasn't able to drop as quickly, or I wasn't able to, execute on songs and ideas I had. Being, he had brought up he had EPs that he wanted to drop 2 or 3 years ago. They didn't let him drop it. And then Musa came on the pod talking about, he doesn't have motion and he's not like Doichi and Ray Vaughn. He doesn't have motion. He's not doing X, Y, and Z. But
yeah, that part I didn't agree with. I agree with the Doechii part. Doechii low-key popping right now. But Ray Vaughn hasn't done shit. I would have been hella offended if you talking about some nigga that dropped one EP after he signed, but nobody talking about him, bro. He's on tour with Zay right now, but that's Zay giving him a look. That don't mean he got motion. That's Zay's motion, bro.
Yeah. But I think the craziest part about it is that he said, and he asked him this, and he said, stop me when I'm lying. I tried to bring 2 or 3 EPs to y'all 2 or 3 years ago, right? And he wouldn't even answer that. So that's a signal right there.
That's a whole nother discussion, though.
But then he's all right, the EP songs that I brought up are the same songs on the album, but then Musa trying to say the quality was low. So how you saying the quality was low then, but then now the same songs on the album that's out now? That's a direct contradiction.
Real quick,
and he would not answer that, bro.
Well, we could.
So
we'll hold on to that point because I have a rebuttal for that. But
for sure.
I was gonna say Reason dropped 2 years ago, right?
2020, so 3 years.
2020. Is it BU?
New Beginnings? Yeah.
I might be playing devil's advocate, but I don't think that's that long of a wait for a Reason
I don't think
album.
that's that long either. And I will say,
He the only one that has a 3-year. Everybody else is like 4 or 5 years.
Exactly. That's
At the
like,
most, though. He's the shortest.
yeah, which is why I'm like, I don't think he waited that long. And if you're saying like, oh, they're telling you not to drop this EP because low quality, and the songs that were on that EP are now on your album, what's that saying about the album?
I would say
But the album is getting great reception, though.
is it like low quality in terms of like production or terms of because
He didn't even say.
because it's like it could still be the same song, but maybe it wasn't mixed right. Maybe
He didn't even say why Doechii and Ray Vaughn have more motion than him. Doechii, my bad. Have more motion than him. He just said they have more
for
motion.
sure does. Doechii for sure
Yeah,
does.
I agree with Doechii.
The Ray Vaughn one was out of pocket. He shouldn't have said either, but
That's what I'm saying. As the president, it's like, why? And I guess maybe that's a tactic as a president. Some presidents have done that on labels in the past where they kind of pit their artists against each other, and then the cream rises to the top. But I don't know, man. The top. I keep doing this shit, man.
well they said
That
like,
should be a rapper.
well I guess like even from like what I was hearing is like these conversations are regular. Like I said, it just like they're even more worse. So I could see like a label as an entity as like someone because saying like, yeah, no, you need to get your shit together before we put this out. We got money behind you. If you drop a project and it makes us no money, then well, like what are we gonna do?
and not even from like the money standpoint, like back to the quality standpoint. If like your bar is like, hey, 9 out of like every 4 out of 5 of our artists drop a classic. If that's the bar, then okay, maybe when you drop it, like okay, you're gonna have like rave reviews, but it's not classic. You feel me?
Right.
And maybe that's what they're coming from, where it's all like, oh, we want the best for you. Yeah, we're gonna push your shit back till you have that classic in hand. Like if you think about Kendrick, multiple classics. Schoolboy Q has Blank Face. J Rock has Redemption. Ab-Soul has You Nod Your Head to Redemption as a classic.
Oh no, I was just saying.
okay.
No, for sure. That's for sure. That's for sure.
I was gonna say, I was like,
Damn, this nigga clocking me. He didn't give me the side eye clocking my shit.
I just gotta make sure.
Niggas can't stretch.
Ab-Soul has Control System. SZA has multiple classics. Isaiah Rashad has Sylvia Demo. So you coming from this label that every time they break an artist.
What about Zakari? He got a classic.
Does Zakari have an album? Or does he just have?
Not to my knowledge.
He does have an
He has
album.
a tape.
What about,
it's like it had a wolf on the album cover. I just can't remember the name right
I forget
now.
his name is the other dude on TDE.
Sir.
Not
Sir.
Sir.
Sir has a classic.
Sir for sure
Sir
has a classic. But
Jason
there's
Summer.
what's the other guy? He's also a singer.
Lance Skywalker.
Lance Skywalker.
He makes
Yes,
beats.
Skywalker.
He's more of a beat maker.
Okay. All
And
right.
then Zakari's more of a feature artist. Like if we're being honest.
So now we changing it up for Zakari. You said every artist got a classic.
I said 4 out of every 5.
I think you make this sound like every artist has a.
4
So
out
you
of
just
5.
don't count Zakari?
I said 4 out of 5.
Schoolboy got one too?
I'm an accountant, so I know how to do
Schoolboy?
math. You an engineer.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not counting Schoolboy?
Blank face. I said blank face.
So it's Kendrick, SZA,
Yep.
Zakari, J Rock,
Okay.
and
Schoolboy,
and
Ab-Soul.
Ab-Soul.
I think
That's
there's
it?
more than 5 artists on TDE.
What about Sir
but,
though?
like,
That's what I'm saying. Like
Sir
there's
has
more
a
than-
classic.
I
But you
think
said 4 out of 5. Like
Yeah,
that's
I
why I'm
was
confused.
doing like a basic
I
4
thought
out.
it was more. Okay,
Four
All
out of
I think
5.
that's where
let's
the
just
confusion
say like
is, for sure.
percent. Let's just say percentile.
No, I got you now. I
Sorry,
got
the
you. I got
engineer
you.
is coming out of me right now. Percentile, 4 out of 5, 80% of TDE has classics.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
You can tell me if I'm wrong.
No,
and
that's
then you
fair.
can tell me who you.
No, it's just
who
the
I said
5
that
number is what threw me off. I was like, there's more than 5. Okay, for sure.
Because I was gonna
All
say
right, all right,
I'll
cool.
listen them out too, just to make sure. I did miss Sir. That Chasing Summer record.
Sir is fucking fire, bro.
Yep.
Man.
But yeah, man, I feel like even I was listening to Portraits, and we're gonna get into this when we talk about the project. I do feel like there was a high floor on Portraits, and it didn't reach its ceiling. And what if he waited like another year and just developed the project a little bit more? What if he went back and revisited like some of those songs? Because you have that luxury being signed to a label. You're not independent no more, so you don't have to churn shit out like on the regular as like an independent artist would. You have label back, and you can just chill out and just kind of like let shit come together. You feel me?
That's true. The only pushback I'll say on that is maybe if they let him put out some of these EPs, he would have felt like, all right, now I can move on and make some new songs.
But see, if
But it's
the
like, you're not letting
EPs
me put out what I feel like is pretty solid. Then it's like I'm in this perpetual, you know, I don't know. You're just stuck in the mud, pretty much. You're stuck in the same place. So that's the only pushback I'll give on that. That's a good point, though.
I was gonna say though, but if the EPs were basically ass, everybody would have been looking at TDE. Like, you gotta remember, TDE got a name. So like, if your artist come out, put something out, and it's trash, then everybody gonna be looking at like, what happened? Why'd y'all drop the ball with Reason?
Yeah, whether it's trash, whether it's mid, or sometimes whether if it was just bad timing. Because that's a lot of it with like major artists. Look at Roddy Ricch, bro. You can't tell me that Roddy Ricch puts out trash music now. But the social narrative on him changed, right? So it doesn't matter what he puts out. Every time he puts out a song, what are you gonna see on Twitter? Oh, Roddy Ricch fell off.
Roddy
He
Ricch
fell off.
is weird,
He fell
bro.
off. So you gotta really like play this game like right. Like, I feel like TDE is one of the few like labels that actually do it correctly. Cause I mean, we're seeing it with Lil Baby. His browse on the top lasted for what, a year?
Yep.
And now he can't sell. Like, he can't sell out stadiums anymore.
Well, he tours too much, bro. He oversaturates himself.
Well, that's
This
our
nigga
point.
did
That's our
Lil
point.
Durk's album. No, Lil Durk's tour, the Heroes and Villains tour. Then he did Chris Brown's tour. Then he doing like that's his problem.
I think the thing is, like, I'd rather wait for a really good project than be flooded with like projects that are just mid, even though I'm getting a whole bunch of it. So I like, if I don't know what goes on in the studio, so if they heard it and said this is not ready, and because it sounded like tracks, and when we were here, it was like, nah, this is not it. And then we got the projects we're hearing now, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna get into it. Then I'm okay with that wait.
This is my question though. Nobody on TDE really, do they put out EPs like that though? I feel like that's not really their
The last EP
their
I remember
blueprint.
is
You know what I mean?
the Kendrick Lamar EP.
Right.
Everything
So that's
else,
what I'm saying.
everything else is a tape or project.
This is put out an EP. It's like they do it in the beginning, but like then after, like,
Okay.
Was that
yeah.
before she signed though? The Z? You talking about Z?
Yeah. Oh, that might have been before she signed.
So that's what I'm saying. That might just be, you know, a blueprint type of thing where it's like, you got to understand where you sign it to. That's not really in their nature to put out EPs like that. They just, like y'all saying, they just put out bodies of work that everybody deems as classics. So,
And in this market where we're getting a lot of mid and we're getting a lot of trash,
yeah.
we like
That's
maybe some more artists need to wait.
That's what I was complaining about. I don't know if y'all be seeing like my tweets sometimes, but I just be like, bro, there's too many albums out to where my queue is crazy. Like, I have 15 albums just sitting there because everybody dropping every fucking day, bro.
Yo, imagine that as a DJ. As a DJ, like you don't even, like, you get so many songs you don't even know if they're gonna hit or not, and even if they do hit, it's like gone, like here today, gone tomorrow.
Man,
So it's like, and you gotta listen to all of it, just phase out. Okay, which is a hit, which isn't a hit. Yeah, it's too much music out. So yeah, I'd rather artists wait.
and the shit all sounds the same too. So I could only imagine as a DJ like trying to like figure out like, all right, what I'm gonna play that's gonna actually make people move, and they're not just be like, wait, didn't we just hear this? Like,
Yep.
damn.